The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. It's brought to you along with Levi's Solicitors. 15% discount on three things, Michael, which are
conveyancing,
and
wills,
and
probate.
That's until the end of January 2023, so get in there quickly as we are running out of time on that particular offer. levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Online booking system as well. You can do the wills appointments from the comfort of your own home as well, so check that out. Quick mention for our stuff as well. We've got a sale on at the minute, haven't we, Moscow, on the website?
Yes. We're selling mugs and small T-shirts.
When we mentioned the Pat Bamford mugs that we could not shift for love nor money,
well, no,
a week or two back, because Pat had disappeared from the public consciousness.
Yeah, people had forgotten about Pat's, like Dre.
We put them on sale. We put them on sale. He comes back and scores some goals. Boom, they're nearly all gone. It's wild, isn't it? What else do we need to shift?
Rafinha mugs.
Yeah.
We've still got some of those
So
left.
a few Rafinha, a few
Calvin mugs.
And there are things that aren't on sale, like your T-shirt.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My
not
T-shirt.
Not mine particularly.
Nice bit of embroidery on this one.
Yeah, there's a new issue as well. I don't have a copy of it. I've got a copy of the last one. So if you imagine that, but it's just Eddie Gray. That's what the new one looks like. So that's on the website as well.
Love that.
Basically, just everything you could possibly want from a Square Ball perspective is there. Particularly if what you want is who's on the first Leeds fighter mugs. There's Stuart Dallas, Tyler Roberts, Gianni Alioski.
Yeah,
is he on there?
Pablo's on it.
All our big
heroes on it.
All the big heroes.
But the thing is, I think we've discovered with the Pat Bamford mugs is that there's a lot of people out there who are just drinking out of their hands in the morning with a streamed slurping because they don't have any
Idiots.
mugs to drink from. So just because the Pat Bamford ones are flying out doesn't mean that you should neglect the other mug opportunities that are there. And
Get a good box with it too.
You can walk out up a hill to a clear, fast-running stream, dip it in the water, drink from that, and it'll taste so much better than trying to build a basket of reeds.
It's good advice. If anyone gets dysentery from it.
Yeah.
£5 mug, squareball.net, look for the sale. Menu, it says sale.
Thanks, Moscow. That was more than comprehensive. Didn't expect that, so good work. Thesquareball.net, everybody. Part one of the show's news. And Chris Armas has been just announced. This is hot off the presses. I mean, not when the show comes out, but it's hot off the presses for us, which is recording, Wednesday afternoon. So we have a new assistant manager / coach type person. He was at Scum. Boo! Under Ralphie Red Bull.
Yeah, but you don't mind that when he's successful, do you? Oh.
They hated him, didn't they?
Yeah,
All the
they did.
players there, which kind of makes me warm to him. If that dressing room full of absolute spectacular cock faces couldn't get their head around him, then I'm willing to enjoy him.
Could he give him a shot?
Yeah, if they don't like the enemy of my enemy is my friend and all that.
So he was nearly here in the summer, wasn't he? Worked with Jesse before, which you might expect, in New York. Didn't do so great as a manager.
He's not only worked with Jesse, he's played with Jesse. They were together at Chicago Fire for a long time.
BFFs, would you say, Moscow?
I think they're only about 6 months apart in age. They're both disciples of the Red Bull way. Obviously, Armas has been with Rangnick before and managed. He took over New York Red Bulls when Jesse Marsch went to Europe to become assistant coach at Leipzig as part of his corporate Red Bull journey. They put Armas in charge at New York, and he ruined it.
Oh.
I don't know if he ruined it. I think the first season was quite good, but as things went on, Tyler Adams left. So he was coaching Tyler Adams with Marsch at New York, but then he also went to Europe, to Leipzig, and things just started going not as well. So then he went to Toronto. He got a head coach gig at Toronto, and he was sacked there after, I think they lost, this was last season, they lost 7-1, possibly to DC United, Click's new home, which was their 6th consecutive defeat. So they decided that wasn't working very well. But what they concluded from that, apparently, the sort of people who were generally watching it, was that he's really, really good at the Red Bull stuff, but Toronto had like a bunch of old lags in their team who couldn't handle all the high pressing and the running about and the stuff. And he didn't seem to have taken that into account. Don't know why. Maybe he would have adapted, but everyone's just like, no, he's better at just doing the Red Bull stuff. So he went to Scum eventually. So Ralph Rangnick sort of started there, decided he needed some help, called him up, all the players hated him and spent their whole time mocking him. So they both left. And then Jesse Marsch needs some help. So he's called him up. And I'm sure all the players will be fine with him because from what I can tell, he's basically identical to Jesse Marsch in every way apart from haircut.
He was born August the 27th, 1972.
Yeah, and Marsch is November 73.
Do you know where he was born?
Where?
Yep.
Which one?
Armas.
New York.
Yeah, more specifically. I'll give you a clue. Jennifer Lopez.
The Block.
Nearly.
That's going to be my guess too.
The South Bronx.
Oh, okay.
It might not be the South Bronx. It might just be the Bronx. But
he went to university in Garden State.
Hmm.
Well, what was the? Because you've clearly got the Wikipedia page open. What was his college football team called?
His college football team, the Long Island Rough Riders.
No, but he does have them in common with Mike Greller, I believe.
Minnesota Thunder.
Before that. I think they're called the Adelphians. Did he go to Adelphi University?
University, yeah.
So they'll be dragging him out of the pub on Meadow Lane, Leeds, soon, next door to the Tetley.
That's an Adelphi reference, everybody.
Yeah.
The truth shall make us free is a slogan of Adelphi University.
Mm-hmm. And the Jesse is right is going to be the slogan of his coaching when he arrives, because I can't imagine he does seem to have just been brought in to sort of say the same stuff that Marsch has been saying.
So they get it in stereo.
Yeah, basically. I'm a bit, I don't know. Like, I was reading a profile to try and find out more about him and just came to the conclusion that it's the same person, which US soccer seems to have this problem where everybody's all kind of from the same place and they're all of the same age. It's the whole Gio Reyna, Greg Berhalter controversies where everyone's married to each other and they've all been through the same programs because it's all kind of still quite a small
Use the word
sport.
incestuous.
Yeah, incestuous, nepotistic, all those kind of things. So there's not a huge pool of people. I think where Mark Jackson had a bit of an advantage was he brought a different voice, whereas this seems to be just kind of the same voice.
A bit Laurie McMenemy and Graham Taylor, where McMenemy sat alongside him agreeing with everything Graham Taylor said.
Phil Neal.
Oh, was that Phil Neal's job?
Phil Neal was yes, boss. Yes, boss. You're right, boss.
Yeah, he's kind of he's a bit Blackwell to Warnock, isn't he? Like they've been together,
played together
at a number of places. They're kind of mates,
and that has benefits because you don't want somebody to come in as your assistant and going, everything that guy's telling you is wrong. We need to start, playing a completely different style. But I think when the age profile, the playing profile is identical, like they were teammates for years and all that kind of thing. It's like, are we gonna is it a fresh voice to reinvigorate things, or is it just another the same? It's even down to
he's bald.
He's a nice guy as well. Like, he's really good one-to-one with the players and takes all their feedback and really makes it's like.
Do I get the sense?
I read all this stuff about
that you're not into it?
That's fine. It's just I read all this stuff about Jesse Marsch, and then I'm reading all the.
Is he going to fix the defense?
You could have. No, because he got sacked for losing 7-1.
Shit.
Is he going to bring us more clarity in the moment?
Reading about him, it felt like I was just reading about Jesse Marsch again when before he arrived. It's like the same story.
Never mind the coaches. We don't care. It doesn't matter anymore because we're totally Chelsea in our way to safety.
Oh, we do have Rennie Maric, I suppose, and Cameron Toshak is from a different background as well. He's got the experience of the Cypriot League, hasn't he?
And he's Welsh,
which is a good mix. Thomas Christensen only had half of that. Although he did, no, I've got nothing.
Right, let's talk about Weston McKennie. More importantly, let's talk about Weston McKennie's dad.
Speaking of incestuous and nepotism.
We don't want to suggest, I don't think that Weston McKennie, welcome to the club, is the product of an incestuous relationship.
His dad stroke brother been defending him on Twitter.
That struck uncle, it would be, surely.
Depends which way. Anyway.
That wasn't what I meant. Just talking about families sticking up for families.
Tight-knit community.
Yeah.
Weston McKennie, Juventus, sounds like he fancies it, hanging out with his mates in Leeds, which is fair enough. Well, I don't blame him.
He kind of broke the Tyler Adams deal, didn't he, before it had been officially announced? I think it was McKennie who put a congratulations thing on Instagram. So, I mean, everyone knew it was happening, so it wasn't exactly breaking an exclusive, but he was there, so he's obviously mates with him. So if we could agree a fee, then it might happen.
He doesn't want to be at a club that's tainted by a 15-point penalty.
No, absolutely
or
not.
indeed any form of corruption, which is why he signed for Juventus in the first place. He thought they were a clean living bunch of choir boys. He did, but it turns out, would you believe it? They've been up to some good again.
Shenanigans, I'm going to say. Do
you think he'll be able to ship over his collection of complimentary Fiats?
Do you get Fiats? Is that what they give you?
I'd hope so. If I played for Juventus and I didn't get at least a Fiat out of the deal,
I think you look fun in a Fiat 500.
They're supposed to be surprisingly roomy. I do have a little model of a Fiat 500.
Is it an actual 500 or is it a Cinquecento as they rebranded them?
Well, it depends what language you read the numbers in.
That's true, yeah. Because in your head you could do it in both, couldn't you? English or Italian, yeah. I get the joke now. McKennie's dad, very active on Twitter, at Airborne69, which suggests some sort of, there's a helicopter as a profile picture, which means he sounds like a military man.
And a sex man.
Yeah, possibly both at the same time.
Why sex man?
69.
Oh, okay. So, of course, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of I was thinking about the helicopters. I was thinking what's sexy about helicopters.
It's called a chopper.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And he weighs in when people say things like there's an Arsenal fan who's saying McKennie's nowhere near close to being good enough technically for Arteta's side. He doesn't have the creative passing IQ or the positional IQ and blah, 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 blah. What are you smoking so I can get some, says John McKennie.
Yeah, it's going to go well, is this, when he has a bad game for Leeds and his dad's trying to windmill into 800 people at a time on
I think
on
we need to strike up some sort of online relationship with him now. Because you've been stalking players' parents recently, haven't you, Michael? So,
well, not recently, for a long time.
Oh, good lad. Really putting the effort in.
Yeah, John Lukic's mum got all the way back to that. You know, that's the starting point.
And we need to get him as a regular feature, maybe on this show.
The best of the tweets. Are you going to do the Joker one?
You do it.
Somebody complaining that McKennie's Joker routine is getting on the nerves of his Juventus teammates if he just wants to mess around and have fun. And Daddy McKennie comes in and says, does it look like he's joking around on the pitch? No, so shut your pie hole. Again, he goes 100 and plays through knocks you don't even know of. But we will know of. This is all like when it was Marco Silvestri's dad who was sticking up for him when his little back hurt.
The lipstick mark.
Yeah, so it's going to be that again.
Not his dog's lipstick.
No, we should say it very clearly. Absolutely. Does this mean movement elsewhere? Not the dog's lipstick.
We don't actually know if we're getting him, do we? It sounds like the deal with him is agreed, but Juventus want some money for him, which is a bit annoying.
It's a bit of a drawback.
They want a lot. We don't want to pay as much. Maybe we can strike a deal. Maybe this is how the transfer market works in January.
Meet in the middle. If he wants to come, and I think Juventus probably. Are they going to miss out on Europe this year and all that kind of stuff because of this 15-point
potential? They'll miss Champions League, won't they?
Yeah, so there could probably there's probably a deal to be done. And he seems like his dad's right. He's a good player. I'm not going to contradict Mr. 69 on this, but he probably higher profile than Tyler Adams, maybe just because he's been around a bit more and he's moving to Juventus was a big move. Raised in Europe, I think he came over to Germany as a much younger player. So there is the whereas I've gone off probably too hard on there being too much nepotistic Red Bull Corporation coming in. Weston McKennie, although he is also American, it's kind of outside of all that. He's still within the US men's national team. US soccer problem is that everybody has been mates and went to college with each other 20 years ago, and they're trying to get out of that, which could backfire a bit on poor old Jesse Marsh if they suddenly go like, no, we need to stop having people that we like and know. Oh, poor fella, he ain't going to get the job. But he's been in Europe for a long time and kind of so apart from the
spent part of his childhood in Germany, didn't he? Because his dad is Air Force or similar, and that sort of maybe was part of the reason why he started out his early part of his career at Schalke, wasn't it? He started out.
Basically, he's not just another Red Bull clone, but it does seem like he would suit that style of football. But also, I think what we maybe hopefully are building in with players like him, if we get him, and Rutter and Wilf and all the other good players that we have, they can probably do other things as well if there should ever come a day when we ask them to play a different way, perhaps for a different coach, should that ever come to pass. So.
Well,
he's decent age, and he's about 25. So.
Yeah, and he was good. I mean, I can't pretend I've watched him much, but
World Cup, he looked good, so we should sign him.
World Cup, he was good. That is, I won't pretend I know any more than World Cup plus YouTube.
If he's a Click replacement, sort of say, well, 7 years younger, and we're paying 15 times as much. So he's got to be better, hasn't he? So the maths on that, if you put those together and
I'm just going to work out your maths on that. I am curious.
Well, if he's 30 million, and we paid 2 for Click,
the fees vary somewhere between.
Well, 15 times as much as Click's fee would be 22.5 million, Moscow. So
but if we paid 2 million for him, what would 15 times 2 be?
30.
Well, that's the maths I was doing.
Yeah, but you're reverse engineering your maths too. It was 1.5 million.
I'm going to make it difficult, am I?
Right. Anyway, does make you wonder if Jackie is going to move because his contract is ticking down, and Rumours of Leicester being interested and all that. Newcastle swinging their bits around, aren't they, trying to buy people? James Maddison, all that sort of vibe.
They did want Jackie, now they've got him in summer. Now they're getting Maddison instead, so now Leicester might want Jackie.
Just keep him. Keep him
I
all.
think I'd rather keep. But I suppose if you were, in terms of balancing the squad, if you had to sell a wide player to get a central player, it does make a degree of sense, given we've got a lot of wide players and not as many central ones.
Make room for Dan James coming back.
I was going to say, well, that's the other question, isn't it? If the old little scum bastard does, because it was Ryan Taylor Sport who tweeted to say Fulham have currently filled Premier League loan quota, i.e. 2, and can only complete the Cedric Suarez. Is that how we pronounce it? Soares? Yeah. Loan deal if they send Shane Duffy or Dan James back to Brighton or Leeds, respectively. And it looks like one of those is imminent.
Oh, good.
Or you could sign them permanently.
They could sign him permanently, and they may choose to. Or not. The only thing that slightly reassures me on this is that I looked at Shane Duffy, who I didn't truthfully even know was at Fulham. He's played even less. He comes on in the last minute to try and shore up a win. Does waste time, does Shane Duffy. So
I'm going to question you something now. This show, do you think we started fast? Always online?
Yes.
Have we stayed aggressive?
Not so sure.
Do you feel like we've operated with minimal width and it's been quite a vertical podcast?
Yes.
Go in, join in and swarm.
There's been a bit of shifting and pumping.
Definitely that, yeah.
We haven't prevented switches because we had to press some of those to make it work, didn't we?
Yeah. Although we can celebrate moments.
You know, what you said before when you were correcting my maths?
Was it my clean sheet mentality?
It was great.
Right.
I just wanted to put that in. We should celebrate.
Thank you.
That moment, I thought it was good. And Michael, the bit before when you did, I mean, you probably did something that was all right. Can't remember now.
Thanks. That means a lot.
Doubt it.
Means a lot.
No, Michael, I believe that you're going to do something really cool soon.
We are, of course, talking about that poster or printout thing that was on the wall in the dressing room, and possibly sending it up a little bit.
The keys to the game.
The keys to the game.
Keys to the game.
What are the keys to your heart?
I've got a little keyring that says Daniel on it. It's little, someone gave me that years ago. It's a little football player, and it really should have fallen to pieces by now. But it's you know when
made of asbestos or something.
It's technically rubber, but I think it's so old that it's just become like really hardened,
like Mother Shipton's cave,
calcified
sort of
plastic
vibe to it.
But that's
your sweaty pockets have
turned
made it into
stone.
Lovely stuff.
Everything I'm not going to do it. Leave that to John McKennie.
What was I going to say? Right. So that's Jesse's poster.
Is it a bit harsh, the treatment this has had? There's loads of this sort of bollocks, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. Of course it's harsh, but it's funny.
Every changing room will have this kind of rubbish up.
The main bit is the bit where it says minimal width. You just think,
It's all stuff we knew anyway, because we've seen them play like this for months.
To see minimal width written down there just feels depressing.
But we've heard him say, like every coaching seminar that he's given is all this kind of stuff. If there is some criticism of it, there's way too much on there. There's 8 keys, and then some of those
it feels to me like key 3. You thinking of that one particularly, Moscow, the minimal width vertical counter press. That's 3 things in one.
Exactly. And then, go in, join in the swarmers, then prevent switches. So there's a lot of things. If you're trying to break it down to simplify it, then I feel like 8 is too many for these tiny-brained, big-footed footballers that we're dealing with.
What I do like best of all is point number 8, celebrate moments. That has got 3 exclamation marks, which is the most of any point on this sheet. So that, to me, feels like it's very important.
Celebrate moments like 4-0 home defeats. Like
I was thinking more like Rasmus enjoys it, doesn't he, when he puts a tackle in and it's successful and he gives it a little bit of a fist pump.
But now I see that that's kind of like a mandated instruction. I wonder if he means it.
Right.
Is he just like going through the motions where he's like...
So you've kind of got to go, yes!
It's like, I'd better... Okay. Yay. Great tackle.
Enforced fun. It's like fancy dress parties, isn't it?
And we saw Jesse's fancy dress, didn't we, on Twitter the other week when he was celebrating his wife's birthday? Or was it an anniversary? I can't remember
I think it was her birthday.
Yeah. So that's good. So Jesse likes enforced fun.
What was he dressed as?
Was it like generic 70s sort of thing? He had a big tash, didn't he?
Like a 70s party.
Excellent. I can think of nothing worse. Bielsa's not going to Everton anyway, so we don't have to deal with that.
That's a relief.
That is proper your ex hooking up with somebody that you know vibes, isn't it? We just need to let everybody move on.
I discounted it as soon as I heard it as a rumour. I was like, no, he's not going to go there.
Is that denial on your part?
No, it's just not very Bielsa-ish there, is it?
He's not stupid.
It's mid-season. They're a complete shit show.
Yeah.
He can't. He won't have any money to even bring in players. Even if he wanted to change the style, he wouldn't be able to do it.
Dan James for 30 million.
I mean, that would be our escape route for Dan James, wouldn't it? But
you can read between the lines on all of it as well, because the initial report even said that Moshiri, he's his first choice, but other people on the board aren't sure. And you're like, okay, well, so who wants the story about there being a split board out there? Who wants to be saying, well, I tried to get Bielsa, but the other people on the board wanted Sam Allardyce. And so there's been that angle all the way through. And then you've got that player who's decided to go to Tottenham instead of Everton.
Dan
and they're all up for sale. Moshiri's just gone, well, if I can't do what I want, I'm just going to sell the whole thing. And it's hilarious. And Bielsa, you know, whatever you want to say about him, the man is not an idiot. As if he would go to Everton.
he is still favourite according to Sky Bet, but these markets can be quite manipulated. If someone just puts like £50 on, it'll panic them and they'll massively cut someone's odds. But to show what a shambles of a recruitment process is as well, to go through the list from favourite down, it goes
Please.
Bielsa, Deitch, Hasenhüttl, Allardyce, Rooney, Ferguson.
It's just a complete mess, isn't it? I mean, that's
someone, please.
That's what's great of the stories from the board, where it's like they're trying to choose between Bielsa and Allardyce. It's like, if that's your choice, you don't know what you want, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Rooney's my hope.
Yeah, get him away from Click.
Yes, get him away from Click, and I think he's probably the least qualified. Well, he is definitely the least qualified on that list.
Yeah. Well, how did it go when he followed Lampard at Derby? When they were in chaos. So well, they repeat that trick.
They had that year of survival, didn't they, when they all massively celebrated, then went down anyway.
You know what I'd like? Rooney and his player manager. I think he could still do a job. Get him into that midfield.
There you go. We've got Scum 2 games in a week, potentially, if we don't get any FA Cup fourth round replay action. We're going to preview that in part 2, aren't we, by the way? The Accrington Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
They have that in their Twitter bio. You know, they say, we are aware we were in an advert once.
That's good. Save it. This is all hot chat because we've got nothing else to do.
All I know about them.
Yeah. So, yeah, Scum 2 games in a week. That'll be fun, won't it?
Oh, God. Probably not.
Just get it all out of the way in one go.
That's what we said about Bielsa and we sacked him. That week of carnage.
Yeah, true enough.
It could be a tough week to survive if you're the manager. If old Chris Armas is just living out of his suitcase still at this point. Yeah, maybe.
Do you want to move into don't move into an apartment.
Just stay at the hotel for a bit longer. Yeah. See how you get on.
Just enjoy it.
Surely you just stay at Jesse's. He'll have a spare room.
Yeah, he probably would, actually.
Doesn't even have a work permit yet, so he might not make it in time. Imagine if his work permit comes through the day after the second game against Scum.
Just as we're making him redundant.
There you go, part 1 done and dusted. Then the Accrington Stanley preview on the way in just a second for you on your feed, and have a look for heroes and villains as well, where we will crown a hero and villain of the last 7 days at Leeds United.
The Square Ball Podcast.